In the annals of history, we celebrate the great moments of royalty, the coronations, the grand weddings, the births of heirs. We see them in their regalia, symbols of a bloodline meant to be perfect, divinely ordained, and free from flaw. But behind the glittering facade of palaces and the solemn weight of the crown, there is a hidden history, a forgotten tragedy that speaks to a profound truth about power and human imperfection. This is the story of royal children with disabilities, hidden from a world that demanded a perfect heir and whose quiet lives and lonely deaths were all but erased from memory. The pressure of the crown. To understand why a royal child would be hidden away, you must first understand the intense pressure of the crown. A monarch's life was not their own, it was a performance for the state. Every aspect, from their marriage to the birth of their children, was a political act. For centuries, the concept of a divine right to rule was paramount. A child with a disability was not just a personal tragedy, they were a potential political disaster. They were seen as a sign of weakness and imperfection in the bloodline that could invite questions of succession and, worse, a challenge to the very idea of a divine right to power. The cruel solution was simple and absolute. They were to be hidden away. The case of Prince John, perhaps the most famous and heartbreaking example of this hidden history, is that of Prince John of the United Kingdom. Born in 1905, he was the youngest son of King George V and Queen Mary. For the first few years of his life, he was a vibrant, playful child, much loved by his family. But as he grew, it became clear he was different. He suffered from severe epilepsy and was also believed to have learning disabilities. To a world that expected a future king's son to be a symbol of strength and health, John was a problem. His existence, a constant reminder of imperfection, was a potential scandal for the monarchy. A life in the shadows. As Prince John's seizures grew more severe, the decision was made to remove him from public life. He was taken from his family home and sent to a secluded farm on the Sandringham estate. He was given his own staff and a dedicated nurse, but he was isolated from his siblings and the glittering life of the royal court. For the rest of his short life, he would only see his family on rare occasions. The family, particularly Queen Mary, would publicly acknowledge his existence with silence. The press was told to not speak of him, and his official portrait was all but forgotten. He was, to put it simply, a ghost in the royal family's grand narrative. Beyond England, this practice of isolating disabled children was not unique to the British monarchy. Across Europe, countless other royal families faced similar situations. Royal children with physical deformities, mental disabilities, or chronic illnesses were often institutionalized in private asylums or placed in secluded castles and estates. They were given comfortable lives, but they were lives without a family, without a place in the public world. Their existence was a secret meant to be buried with them. This was not always out of malice, but out of a deeply ingrained belief that a royal family's image of perfection and strength had to be maintained at all costs. A tragic end. Prince John's story ended tragically in 1919 when he died at the age of 13 following a severe seizure. His death was announced with a brief statement, and he was buried quietly in a private ceremony. In the years that followed, his memory was nearly erased from royal history. The silence surrounding his death and life speaks volumes. For a century, the story of this young prince remained in the shadows, a poignant testament to the lengths a family would go to protect the image of the crown. The legacy of the forgotten. It wasn't until the late 20th century, with a shift in social attitudes towards disabilities, that his story began to re-emerge. Photographs and letters from his family were discovered, revealing a deeply human portrait of a boy who was loved but sacrificed for the sake of the crown's image. The royal family's eventual public acknowledgement of his life served as a poignant final chapter to a story of isolation and sorrow. The true story of these forgotten royal children is a powerful reminder that history, in its grand sweeping gestures, often overlooks the smaller, more personal tragedies. Their dark fate wasn't a myth, It was a reality born of a system that valued power and public image over human compassion. Their silence was a testament to the immense pressure of a crown that could not tolerate imperfection. But in the quiet rediscovery of their stories, we can finally give a voice to the hidden lives that were once deemed unfit for a king's court.